Hi everybody, and welcome to another episode of J-Man's Road Rants. Welcome everybody to episode 39 of J-Man's Road Rants. Hey, it's that time of the week, time for those NFL picks. But we're going to do things just a little bit differently. But before we get to that, click on that like button, the subscribe, and the bell so you can be notified when I upload again. Follow me on Twitter at JManFromKC. Now, a little bit differently, like I said, instead of just going through the games and giving you who I think's going to win, I thought I'd go into a little more detail. Give you the spread according to DraftKings and the over-under, and I would pick it accordingly. So, let's try it that way. So starting with our Thursday night ball game, we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers traveling to Philadelphia to take on the Eagles. Now, the current spread is at the Tampa Bay minus 6.5 with an over-under of 53. And I know it's a Thursday game after being played on Monday, or on Sunday for both teams, but I'm going to still take the Buccaneers to cover the spread, and I call this to go over 53 because honestly, the Buccaneers defense hasn't really stopped much in the passing game either. So I'll take the Buccaneers to cover the spread and we'll go over to 53. Next, we move to Sunday. The first game of the slate, another London game. Oh, I just so hate those. But it's the Miami Dolphins taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars in London. The Dolphins are giving away 3 points. And the over-under is 47.5. I'm going to take the Dolphins, and I think the Dolphins will cover, but it'll go under the 47.5. They're usually not high-scoring games in London. So now we get to the noon games. We have the first one on the slate: the Minnesota Vikings traveling to the Carolina Panthers, Charlotte. But the Vikings here are actually the favorites by 1.5 points. A little surprised of that. With a 45.5 over-under. Now, Carolina has a great defense. And we still don't know whether Dalvin Cook's going to play. So, I actually am going to take the Panthers on this with the 1.5. And I still think it's going to be under the 45.5 total. Moving on to the next game, we have the Los Angeles Chargers traveling all the way across the country to Baltimore to take on those Ravens, who had one hell of a come-from-behind victory Monday night. The Ravens are favored by 2.5, and they have a 51.5 point spread, or as the total points. This one's tough, but I think the Chargers are too much for the Ravens, and so I'm going to take the Chargers and the points. And I'm going to go slightly under the 51.5. I think it's like 48, somewhere in that ballpark. We have the Los Angeles Rams, again, traveling across the country to face the New York Giants. The Rams are favored by 9.5, and their over-under is 48.5. Honestly, I thought this would have been higher. So I will take the Rams. I think they cover the spread. I think they win by 13 or more, to be honest with you. I'm actually going to take the over, though. Be interesting, but I think it'll be 50-51, somewhere in that ballpark. We have the Houston Texans traveling up to Indianapolis to take on the Colts. The Colts are the favorites by 10 points. With an over-under 43. This is difficult. I mean, I still think the Colts win, but I don't think they cover. And it's certainly not going over 43. So I'm going to take basically the Texans for the points with an under the 43. The next game, we have the Kansas City Chiefs traveling to DC to take on the football team. The Chiefs actually are favored by 6.5, with a 56.5 point over-under. The highest of the week, mind you. I think the Chiefs win, but I'm actually going to take the football team to cover the points. I think the Chiefs win, but it'll only be like by 3 or even less. They'll definitely go over the 56 because neither team can stop the other. So it's going to be back and forth. Shootout city. We have the Green Bay Packers traveling to Chicago to take on those Bears. The Packers are favored by 4.5 with a 44 point over-under. I will take the Packers to cover the points, and I believe we'll get a slight over, but I'll take the over. We next have the Cincinnati Bengals traveling to take on the Detroit Lions. Cincinnati has a 3.5 point favorite with a 48 point over-under. I think Cincinnati can cover this. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if Cincinnati doesn't win by double digits. As far as the 48, I might go slightly under. We have our first 3 o'clock game. We have the Arizona Cardinals traveling to Cleveland to take on the Browns. Now, the Browns are favored by 3. They get that typical home favorite with an over-under 49. This one's difficult to call. I mean, the 49ers held the Cardinals to 17. The Browns gave up 47 to the Chargers. So I honestly think they get the over. But I'm actually going to take the Cardinals to win this game, which means obviously they'll cover the points because they're gaining 3. So to win outright, that's no problem. We have the Dallas Cowboys traveling up to New England to take on the Patriots. The Cowboys are going to be favored by 3. It's a 51 point over-under. I think the Cowboys cover, and they do go over 51. The Las Vegas Raiders travel to Denver to take on the Broncos. The Broncos are favored by 3.5 with a 44 point over-under. I think the Broncos cover. Wouldn't be surprised if the Broncos win by 10. This ain't like your typical situation where a coach gets fired and a team plays better. Their coach resigned. I think it hurts them really because Carr played better with Gruden. Now that Gruden's gone, I think he's going to be down a little bit. So I'm going to take the Broncos, and I think it's going to be under the 44. We have our Sunday night game, the Seattle Seahawks traveling to Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers. The Steelers are favored by 5 with a 42.5 point over-under. I don't know that the Steelers cover. So I will take the Seahawks in the points. But I think it's going to be under the 42.5. Low scoring. And finally, Monday night, we get the Buffalo Bills favored by 5.5 points, traveling to Tennessee to take on the Titans with a 54 point over-under. I think the Bills easily cover, and they go over 54. So, that's my picks with the spread and the over-under. Tell me what you think. Leave a like, hit the like button, leave me a comment down below if you disagree with any of them. You can hit the subscribe and the bell so you can be notified when I upload again. You can follow me on Twitter at JManFromKC. Thanks again for watching, and have a good day.